This video will cover different ways to do hill starts, the pros and cons of doing each way, but it won't include how to deal with hills whilst you're moving, such as in traffic or when you're approaching a junction uphill, because that's quite different and I'll leave that for a different video. The problem with manual cars is that you have 3 pedals, but only 2 feet. The left foot is solely for the clutch and your right foot needs to juggle both the gas and the brake. Trouble is, when you come off the foot brake to press the gas, the car rolls back. Here's how you deal with that problem. One way of dealing with the problem is to leave the handbrake on and get the gas. That way the handbrake stops you from rolling back. So now I can get some gas, lift the clutch to the bite point till I hear and feel the bite point, which is there. And then when I take the handbrake off, after looking round, the car moves forward instead of backwards. A good way to judge you have the bite point is to give a little bit more gas than usual. That way you can hear the bite point better because you hear the bite point through the gas. You know you're at the bite point because the engine sound goes a bit deeper, like a kind of sound. And another good way to tell that you're at the bite point is the front of your car will lift up slightly and the back will dip. On some cars you may also feel a vibration through the seat and the steering wheel and the pedals, but that depends on how refined your car is. The pro of using the handbrake to do a hill start is that it works in any car. New, old, powerful, underpowered, you'll be able to move away uphill without stalling. The downside is it takes a bit of time. Another way is to find the bite point whilst your foot is on the foot brake. So, clutch down first gear, foot on the foot brake and handbrake off. So now, if I come off the foot brake, I'm going to roll back, as you know. But if I lift the clutch up to the bite point, there it is, and then check around and make sure it's safe and come off the foot brake, the car doesn't roll back. In fact, it starts rolling forwards. Then I can add some gas and accelerate a little bit faster. The advantage of this method? Well, you don't have to do much work. You don't have to pull the handbrake on and take it off. The disadvantage is that you might stall. Older cars certainly will probably stall, and newer cars will struggle if not stall. Now, it's not good to move away with the car struggling. If you lift the clutch up to the bite point without gas, in a new car, it will stop itself from stalling, but it's not going to have much power and it's going to vibrate quite a bit. If you use the gas and bring the clutch to the bite point, the car's going to move away a lot more cleanly and smoothly. Having said that, if you know your car well and you know that you can lift the clutch to the bite point without it struggling or stalling, there's not much wrong with doing that method. But if you're learning to drive, you want to learn a method that's going to work in all cars, not just a certain percentage of cars. Another method is to try and do it really quickly. So come off the brake, press the gas and lift the clutch up quickly and hope you don't roll back. So now I'm coming off the brake, on the gas, lift the clutch up, roll back a tiny bit, but it worked. The pros of that method, it's quick and easy. The cons of that method, probably impossible if you're a learner driver. What a learner is likely to do in that situation is press the gas way too hard, give way too many revs, bring the clutch to the bite point, burning it out in the process, rolling back in the process, or shooting forwards, or kangarooing up the road. If you're learning to drive and you try and do that method, you're probably going to learn to hate driving pretty quickly. Another method is to use hill hold assist. Not all cars have this, but if yours does, it can make moving away uphill a bit easier. What it does is when you come off the foot brake to go to the gas, is it stops you from rolling back. It holds the brake for a couple of seconds. For example, when I come off the foot brake now, I'm off and the car's not moving. Now it's rolling back. That should give me enough time to get my gas and clutch ready. The moment you press the gas though, the brakes do release. So it's still a very tricky method for learners, as you do have to bring the clutch up to near the bite point and then press the gas and lift the clutch the rest of the way. That's kind of how you do it. Let me show you. So no one's coming, I come off the brake, get near the clutch bite point, add the gas and lift the clutch to the bite point a little bit more and I'm away. Quite easy for me because I know exactly where my bite point is. But again, for a new driver, that method is quite hard and not all cars have it. Now for some downhill starts. The first one, handbrake start, downhill. So clutch down first gear, handbrakes on, get some gas, find the bite point, there it is, and then make sure it's safe to go and handbrake off. And I'm going. This isn't really a very good method, if I'm honest with you. I can't think of many pros. Maybe one, if you are very inexperienced at driving and it takes you a long time to get your gas and clutch ready, you could have the handbrake on when you're at a junction downhill. And whilst the cars are coming past, you can get your gas and clutch bite point ready to go so that when the last car passes you, take your handbrake off and you move immediately. But you don't really need to do that, because downhill, when you come off the foot brake, the car rolls for you anyway. So I recommend just coming off the foot brake downhill and get your gas and clutch up as the car rolls, and use the hill to help you. Part of driving a manual car is to put the hill to work, is to get it to slow you down when you're going uphill, and it's to get it to speed you up when you're going downhill. Another method for moving away downhill, which is my preferred method and the most normal method, is to get the hill to start you. Let me show you. Clutch down first gear, foot on the brake and handbrake off. The hill wants the car to roll forwards now. That's handy. Let's put it to work. So no one's coming, come off the foot brake and the car starts rolling. And what's great about this method is that how fast I roll is down to me. If I use the brake now, I can keep myself slow. If I come off the brake, I will speed up. I'll use the brake again to slow down. I'm just going to stop now. And what's great about that is that if there's a car in front of me, I can stay really slow and drive around it without shooting forwards. However, you can't keep the clutch down the whole way down the hill. You will need to bring the clutch up once you reach about 5 miles an hour to avoid coasting where you lose engine braking. But that is another video. Another method is to move away in second gear when you're downhill instead of first gear. That can actually be quite handy. So clutch down into second, foot on the foot brake and handbrake off. And when no one's coming, I'll come off the foot brake, a little bit of gas, a little bit of bite point in second gear, hold the clutch for a second or two, and then come off the clutch. And now I'm moving. Why use second gear then? Why not use first? Why make it complicated? Well, it makes it a bit easier actually, because if you start in second gear, you're not going to have to change the second gear later, so you're saving yourself a gear change. And the reason why you can use second gear downhill is because the hill is adding power for you. The hill is helping you move forwards, so you don't need the extra pulling power of first. And remember, low gears have more power. You don't need the extra power of the lowest gear first to get yourself rolling. You can put it in second, the hill helps you start. You don't need to change the second later. Everybody's happy. Don't do it though if you want to stay slow. If you want to stay slow, use first gear. Of course, if you want to stay extra slow, keep the clutch down and use the brake. But if your road's clear enough that you can get up to say 20 miles an hour reasonably quickly, start in second gear. If you're practicing without an instructor, make sure you have insurance. Get £20 off via the link in the description to Collingwood, who provides specialist learner insurance that allows you to practice in a friend or family member's car without risking their no claims bonus. If you want to insure your own car, click on the link to confused.com. I have found that they have the widest selection of cheap insurers for young drivers. I'd like to apologise for this video being a little bit dark. This is actually the gloomiest day I can ever remember. It's not even that late, if I'm honest with you. But if you like the video, like it. If you want to see my future videos, please subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.